Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today. I can't believe we are already into number 6 of the Cricut Design Space tips, tricks, hacks, whatever you want to call them, so that you can work with your Cricut more efficiently, and it's just a little bit easier, I personally think, to use some of these hacks. Now, if you've got a favorite hack, share it down below. I would love to hear about it. So one of my favorite things is to figure out ways to make your crafting quicker, easier, better, and a little less frustrating. So without further ado, let's head over to Cricut Design Space and get started. Cricut Design Space offers us this warp tool, which we can use with text, but it is for access users only, and they only have like certain ways that you can warp things, and they're okay. They're fine. But the one thing is that it just doesn't look quite right sometimes. And again, you can only do it with access. So a really quick way around this is you can just use the curve option with your design space. So I'm going to curve my words, and I can just kind of curve them however I want. So whichever way you want them to go, you just curve them. And then I'll curve this one in the opposite direction. And now you'll see that they kind of flow a little bit better. Now, again, we can kind of take these and duplicate them, and we can make this cute little design here. And you just play around with it, and however you want it to look, you can do that. But this is a really easy way to kind of circumvent that design flaw where you have to have design space to do this. So I just like to kind of play around with the curve feature. It's just another way that you can do these little curved areas. So then once I've got them, let's say I've got them the way I want them, I'm going to go ahead and combine these and unite them. And I'm going to do that for each of the words here. So I can combine and I want to unite, and then I do that for the last one. And the reason I'm doing this is so that when I hit make, it'll hold the different lines together, but I can also take them, align them, and I can use this center option to make sure that I like the way that it looks. What's easy about this is you can use any words that you want to, any designs that you want to, and I just think it looks a little bit nicer. So if I was to use theirs, let me go ahead and type in the same sentence. So use first, oh geez, oh my goodness, I am not allowed to type today. First flight, Lord. So if I use theirs, we'll show you the example here. They have a few options, and we'll use one that's similar to what they have here. And I want to show you kind of how it curves. I mean, it's fine, but you can like change the curve a little bit so it's less, so it's more, but that's as curved as you're going to get. And if you go down, it's just going to make it straight. So if you want it a little more curved, a little different, I recommend using the option of curving your letters and your words versus actually using their warp tool. Because again, it's part of access, and being able to curve these is just so much better. And I just think it looks nicer. This one may not seem like that big of a hack, but I see so many people struggle with it. I want to include it. So I have this design, and this is a Libby cup wrap with lots and lots of colors. Looks like it's ready to go, right? Looks like everything's really well lined up and it's perfect. But if I click make, what you're going to see is everything gets out of order. It's a mess, and this would be such a pain to try to line up again and get everything where it needs to be. So in order to handle that problem, what I'm going to do is I look and see all of these different groups. You'll notice that there are little pieces for every single group, which is absolutely insane. So what you'll do to combat this issue is you're going to select your entire group and ungroup it. Now you'll see that you have individual groups here. Rather than individually ungrouping everything, all you have to do is choose attach. You're going to attach each individual group, which is each individual color for your design. Now, if your design comes like this, it's great. This is super easy. I'll go ahead and attach all these just so that you can see how easy that is if your design is set up this way. Now what you'll see is everything is lined up where it needs to be on the screen in order for it to line up with your design. But what if your design isn't made that way? What if instead of all of these individual groups, all your layers are individual pieces? I'm going to go ahead and ungroup all of these to just pretend that that's the way this was set up to help you guys so you can see how easy it is to fix this issue. Now, I know that this looks crazy. It looks like a lot of layers. It really is. It's tons and tons of layers. But there's a couple ways that you can combat this issue. What you'll do is you're going to select all the items that are the same color. I'm doing this by clicking each layer on the layers panel and holding down my shift key on my keyboard so I can select multiple layers. Once I have all of those colors selected, so in this case we're going to use yellow, you can either attach them or you can go down to combine and unite them. Now, you can also use Weld, but keep in mind that once you save with Weld, you can't undo it. With a design like this, it doesn't necessarily matter, but sometimes you don't want to do that. So I'll show you down on this one on the green layer. If I want to take all the greens and I want to, for this one, we'll use Weld. You can see that now I just have this one layer. With Unite, I can still see each individual piece, but with Weld, it's all one piece. You can also simply just use attach as well if that's the way you want to do it too. All of those functions are going to do basically the same thing to hold all of your pieces together so that when you cut them, they'll cut in the right place on your mat. So you can see here, if I do this, I'll just use Unite again for this one. And then for the reds, we'll go ahead and we will use combine and we will weld. And then for the black layer, now let's say you don't want to click all these because there's a ton of black ones. An easy way to get around this is just to use these little eyeballs and hide each of your layers. And you'll see now that all you're left with is the black. Go up to the top, click select all and choose attach, weld, or combine and unite them, whatever works best for you. Now you're going to unhide all of your other layers, which it won't look like it's doing anything because the black layer is sitting on top, but that's okay. Now, again, when I click make, you'll see that all my layers are held in place. So there's a couple of ways that you can work with that. Group only holds your layers in place on your mat, where attach, weld, and unite will hold them together when you click on the make screen. So that's just a quick little way that you can make sure that your designs are going to cut out in the right order, in the right place, and everything's going to be good to go. Did you know that Cricut has an entire set of what they call hotkeys or shortcuts? There's a ton of them, and I'm going to show you. I have a list. I'll link it down below if you want to download it. But there's lots of different little shortcuts that you can use. Copy, paste, duplicate, select all, select none, group, ungroup, forward, front, back, all the things. So you can download this cheat sheet if you want, and it gives you all of the quick little shortcuts. But also over here in Cricut Design Space, if you hover over something, it will show you what your shortcut is. So if I want to attach these, I would use Alt plus A. If I want to flatten them, you can see that I'll use Alt plus F. If you go under Combine here and you hover over, you'll see again that it's going to give you the little shortcuts here as well. There are some that they have added. Some don't have shortcuts, but when you hover over them, it will show you kind of if it has a shortcut or not. Weld looks like the only one here that has it, but if you hover over duplicate, it'll show you that we do have a Control D for duplicate. You can use the delete button for delete. Group has the shortcut of Control G. So the shortcuts are just a little way to help you maybe work with Design Space a little quicker if you're more comfortable using keyboard shortcuts. And again, I'll link the little shortcut cheat sheet that I have down below if you want to download it. Now, when you have a really cute design like this, sometimes weeding this can be a little difficult because there are so many different directions that the words are going, lots of different things. So what I want to show you is what I call a weeding box. And weeding boxes can make weeding these little intricate designs super simple. So the first thing that I'm going to do is open up a shape and I'm going to use a square. It doesn't matter if you use the rectangle, the square, whatever you want, whatever works. Next thing I'm going to do is take this square, and I do like to change the color of my design just so I can see it a little bit better. Then I'm going to take this square and I'm going to line it up so that it covers up this word summer. And I think that looks pretty good. So all I have to do here is I can either send it to the back or drag that weeding box behind the design. I'll just make it a little bit smaller. It doesn't need to be very big. I'm going to duplicate that weeding box and just kind of make boxes around the different designs. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you do want to make sure that it's only covering the design and it's not going to like get over into like this sunshine. It's not going to cut any of the words apart. And I'll show you how I connect everything in just a second, but let me finish making my weeding boxes. Now, I will say some things are not going to be able to have weeding boxes, but by adding weeding boxes around some of your design, it is going to help you really work with some of these smaller areas a little bit easier. So I'm not going to make a ton of these weeding boxes, just enough to kind of make this a little easier on some of these pieces. Now, they do overlap in a few spots, so it's okay if you can't do all of them, and that's fine. But these weeding boxes can make it a lot easier for you to weed. Once you have your boxes, however many you want to do, you can select your design and you're just going to choose attach. Now it's going to look like they are gone and they covered up everything. Just change the color and you'll see that your words are going to cut out of these little squares. Now let's say, okay, you know what? Weeding box is not really going to work with the design, and that's okay. I'm going to delete these. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to take my design and I'm going to add a little offset. Now for this, you can make a big offset, a small offset, but I do tend to like to make it a smaller offset. And so I do just kind of make it a little bit tighter, but I'm going to click apply. Now you're going to think, gosh, that seems like a lot of weeding because you're going to have to weed out all of the areas in between your offset. We're not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to contour my offset, hide all contours, and that's going to fill in all those spots. So this can work for a weeding box as well. If your design doesn't allow for you to put boxes around all of your different designs, it's just going to give you a little bit smaller area to work with when you're weeding, rather than having this huge chunk of vinyl. It's just a quick way that you can work with this, but you can do this with any of your designs. I like to do it with thinner, smaller text and things like that. It just can add that little extra that you need to help you weed.